Welcome to another episode of ILIRPODCAST. Well, I'm listening and I'm ready. And today we have the most amazing guest. I know I say it all the time, but I'm telling you, this time I'm telling the truth. As my people down in the South would say, I'm telling the truth for real, for real, for real, all right? On the program, we got my good friend, Miss Stacie McClam. Oh my goodness, filmmaker, educator. I'm talking well-learned too. She's very, very smart. So I got to make sure I have some good questions to ask her because this is a smart woman, all right? So ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my good friend all the way out there from Los Angeles, Miss Stacie McClam. Stacie, say hi to the people.
Hi, everyone, and hi, Andrew. Thanks so much for having me on your show.
You're very welcome. You look very sharp. You look sharp.
Thank you. It's a sharp Monday.
You know, I used to have like long hair like that. You know, I used
Really?
to. Yeah.
Decided to change it up.
I
Cut
did.
it off.
I promise you, I used to have like long hair. I used to have dreads and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
So now when I look at you, I'm thinking, man, I used to have dreads and hair. Now, you know, nothing is up there. I feel very light. You know what I mean?
Okay, I thought you were just playing.
No, this is for real. Talk about lightheaded. I'm now lightheaded. I feel light, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, but that fits you though. That really fits you.
Cool, cool.
What's happening in LA? Talk to me. What's going on over there in California?
Same old, same old. It's actually a little bit cool in Los Angeles, which I don't know, like 68 degrees, but that's cold to us. So
68 is cold to you?
Yeah, it didn't feel like 68, but it felt cooler than 68, but the temperature said 68.
So it's cool. It's not cold. It's cool.
But cold to us.
Well, you do not want to come up north. I'm telling you, like -2 feels like summer up here. I'm telling you.
Wow.
-2. And our brother saying this, I am not a cold-blooded person. I like the heat. I'm originally from Jamaica, so when we talk about, you know, the heat and the sun, we just got to have it. So coming up here and I'm feeling like icicle, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. But I am so thankful that you're here, Stacie. Now, I know that you're doing so much. There's so much you're doing. So I want to make sure that we use the time effectively. I know that you're working on a documentary and, you know, we're in the green room and we're talking about using the clapper and stuff like that. So, and I thought that's exciting because I know if I was the director, I'd be using it every minute. I'd be clap, hey, whoa, let's go. Quiet on the set.
I'm sure you would.
Oh, you would have probably fired me already because I'm like, Andrew, please get off. You use the clapper too much. You're worn out the clapper. Get off the set. Yeah, you be calling my agent.
We'll have to buy you one for a Christmas gift.
Hey, that sounds really good. That sounds good. But I want to say, you know, happy Monday to you. It is an amazing day out there. We had a great sunshine over here. I think it was like 19 or 20 degrees here in Canada. So that right there was like a gift. That's like early Santa Claus for us. Because we're not going to have it again. It's not going to happen.
That's Celsius, right?
Yes, it's just not going to happen anymore.
Okay.
Because after this is the white stuff coming down. And we're not looking forward to it. Yep. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to me for the first time, that is my friend, my good friend from out there in California, Miss Stacie McClam. I just want to tell you a little bit about Stacie, but what I'm going to do is let her introduce herself because I always believe that the person knows themselves. There's something about when they introduce themselves, when they say their names, it just rings, right? But I'm just going to give you an initial introduction so you can know exactly the caliber of individual I'm speaking to, the kind of person I'm speaking to, the expertise that I'm bringing to the show to help you to find your pathway to personal success, all right? So I'm talking to Miss Stacie McClam. She's an educator, author, and a filmmaker. That's right, all right? If you didn't get that, now you know. And she is the founder of School Dismiss LLC, a company that brings education, film, and law together. She merges them so it makes sense to you. You see the background, the laws, and you can see how it comes together to make a story more palatable so you can receive it. but she has over 10 years of elementary teaching experience and has taught across the United States and abroad. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to let her, my guest, our good friend, Miss Stacie McClam, introduce herself. Stacie, tell them about who you are.
Yes. So, as Andrew said, I am a teacher and a teacher turned filmmaker from Los Angeles, born and raised Los Angeles County, and just very passionate about education. My grandmother was a teacher in segregated Virginia. And so as a little girl, my mom used to talk about how her family was so respected just for the simple fact that her mother was a teacher. So in my, child mind, I always put teachers on a pedestal. I respected my grandmother, so I really, knew what she did, especially for the segregated community at that time. So I became a teacher, and I have other educators in my family as well. And I had my own issues with inequalities growing up in the school system, but I was always bused. And so I just thought, oh, well, if I'm a teacher, I can make a difference. And it was a rewarding experience, and I did. But I resigned 2 years ago in 2018 because just time to move on. I saw a lot of issues, and I felt like I could be used in a different way.
Okay. I like when you said that, you saw some issues and you felt that you could be used as a vessel, because that's what we are, in a different way. And I like to really kind of emphasize the word different, that even though you say different, I know you're thinking more effective, more impactful, more influential, because I hear that's what you're saying, because you felt as if, yes, you were in a system, you were part of the system. So your reason for getting out of the system is so you can go back and impact the system with the information, the knowledge, and the expertise and the experiences that you've basically curated over the time. And so I really like what you're doing. If you guys don't know what's happening out there in the educational front, it is happening. And Stacie is putting together a documentary to help you understand some of the things that are going on behind doors as it goes towards education and transforming the mindset of our children. Now, Stacie, I know that you have degrees in law and all that kind of stuff. What's going on with all those letters after your name? What's going on? I mean, I say Stacie McClam, and then I'm like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm just riddling off the alphabet. What's going on?
No, it's just I went to law school in between my teaching career because, as I said, it was 2 years after I was into my teaching career.
Right.
And I was just like, there's got to be something different. We got to make some changes. So I figured if I use the law, I could impact change that way. So that's why I went to law school, but then graduated and then went back to the classroom for 8 more years.
Right.
And then I just felt like, for me personally, I couldn't see the effects that I wanted to see using the law.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, in terms of the law, I mean, what do you mean in terms of, you couldn't see, for a lack of a better word, you couldn't see how you're going to be yeast in the flour of the system, right? I like that. I like that. Right? So you want to become the yeast in the flour of the educational system from a legal perspective, right? But at the time, it just didn't occur to you, okay, fine, what area, what aspect can I really influence? Was there something or a series of events that lead up to you deciding that, no, that's not going to work for you?
Well, it was just over many years. Well, you mean in terms of actually practicing law?
Right, versus going back into the classroom. Because there are a lot of people, I have a lot of lawyer friends, and they're practicing law from a corporate perspective or different areas of law, or real estate, they're out there. So I'm just trying to figure out, how is it that the law, you couldn't find a way to incorporate the law into what you were doing?
Right. So I think I thought going into law school that I could use the law for education, and you do have education law attorneys, and they
Yes.
do a lot of great work.
Yes.
But for me, it's too slow to make changes in law, and because I'm a teacher, I see things differently, and I
Right.
know, what really happens in the classroom. And I just felt like if people saw it, then we can change the law. But if you just try to change the law without people realizing the context of it, it doesn't really change. Like, people have to see it.
Mm.
You have to have attorneys that can understand the education from the classroom perspective, from the school perspective, and judges too. And if they don't see that, and policy changes,
Right.
people sometimes don't see it. So that's why I feel like if you have a film, it will show them, and then hopefully that can change policy. So I think I didn't necessarily want to practice law. It's what I thought the law could do to
Okay.
improve education.
But you know what I like, because we're talking about on a series, finding your pathway to personal success. And that is exactly what's happening here. So what you're doing is like you're knocking on all these doors because, okay, fine, I am trying to, like the Bible says, stir up the gifts, right? And you see, okay, fine, I know there's a problem. There's a big elephant in the room. And so I am in the classroom and I need to fix this, but it's not happening within the administration. Okay, all right, I got you. So then I'm going to go to law school because I think that there are a lot of legal issues that are happening that I really need to fix. And then I went to law school. Wait a minute, that's too slow. I need results now. So I commend, no, I really do. I commend your tenacity. I commend your determination and that willingness to keep knocking and to still turn back and say, okay, fine, those doors didn't work. So I'm going to knock on this other door because the process need to change. I need change, NOW. I need it now. And
Yeah.
it's almost you're saying to yourself, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Okay, I'm not asking that question anymore. I'm going to make sure we get there. So I really, really commend you when I think of all the things that you've done. A lot of people will just fall back on a degree and say, well, I got this. I got letters after my name. So what? What up? But you said, no, it's not about the letter. It's about bringing that change. And in order for us to bring the change, you're trying to say, look at what I am seeing. Let me show you another side. So from that perspective, can you talk to us about what are some of the routines that you go through on a daily basis to decide in terms of making sure that you're on track? What are some of the routines that you practice to make sure that it keeps you on track so you are getting that end result?
Well, you mean now in terms of actually
Like
making
right now. Yes, right now.
um it's honestly, I'm learning every day.
Right.
So I mean, I'm not an expert in like,
Right.
this path is new to me.
Right.
So it's uncomfortable at times,
Mhm.
but I try to keep the focus that it's not about me. Um, it's about the students and families, the communities that I would like to impact. So that kind of keeps me going. But again, I'm new at this, so I sometimes question myself, like, what are you doing? And it feels like I'm starting over. So when you say routines, I just try to keep going and try to keep going because I know what the end result will be, and what the goal is, even though at times it's not easy.
But Stacie, there are a lot of people like you that are out there. Myself, I'm one of them because I wanted to go to medical school and I spent hours studying MCAT books and all of these different things. And I realized that I really want to impact change also. I became a teacher. I was in the medical program and then I went to become a teacher. And working with these youth, I realized like, wow, I am a teacher at heart. But where I deliver my lesson is in the four wall, and I feel like it's contained. So I taught for several years, and I saw the change that I was able to bring when I was up there in Northeast Jacksonville. These were kids that they're saying that they were at risk. They put a label on them and say they're not going to amount to anything. But I saw something different. And you're saying the same thing. You're saying that there are issues that's going on here with the teachers that we are experiencing, but there's no one taking a knife to dissect the big elephant in the room. And you said, okay, fine, enough of the talking, enough of the waiting and the legal red tapes. I'm going to show you. And so using the film is your way of saying, I think I find a pathway that's going to work for me. And here it is. How was that change your mindset about the speed at which change occurs?
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, Andrew, I'm glad that you did not become a doctor, because that's not you. Like, I know, some of your background in science,
yes,
and the way that you use those analogies for the work you do now in change management, and also how you can relate to the children that you taught it. Sometimes doors close, I think, in life for a reason. So you think you're on a certain path, but that might not be the path designed for you, and that's okay, because there's something bigger.
Yes, I love it.
That you're supposed to do. But in terms of your question, I forgot. Sorry.
No, well, the question is basically now, what I'm trying to get to understand is, okay, fine, with the fact that you have transitioned from law and now you're using the show me perspective to finding your pathway to personal success. It's not about waiting on making a change happen or waiting for a change to happen from a legal perspective. That was too long. Your goal is, I want change now, and I'm not going to wait on change. I am going to show you. And so I've taken a different path, which is filmmaking, to show the world what's happening behind the scenes, because you want to make a change. The question now is, do you think just by becoming a filmmaker, how is your approach to creating change? How do you see the speed at which change occur? How does that affect you and how you approach it?
Right. Well, just like COVID-19, the pandemic has exposed many of the educational issues and racial inequalities. It's because people saw it. People, could see George Floyd and see many others on videotape, and it's different when you can see it. There's, in history with Emmett Till and his mother having the open casket so people could see it. She wanted the world to see what happened. It's like when you hold people accountable and you shine the light, then morally people can't back down, because it looks bad.
Yes.
But if you don't show it, then some people know the inequalities, but others don't. And so you have to expose it. And so even, for example, with Ava DuVernay's film When They See Us on Netflix, that's exposing something. And so, there were consequences of that, with the prosecutor being fired and many things all these years later, just because of that one documentary. Or even Spike Lee's Four Little Girls, about the Birmingham 4 little girls who were murdered. When that was released, the same week they reopened the trial from decades prior, just because of a film. So to me, it's like, I don't think these stories should be, hidden or covered. They're worthy of being told, because these are real people's lives and real kids that were affected and are affected in our school system. And so, I feel like it puts people on blast, basically.
Stacie, I really love what you're saying. I love the way you're saying it, and I love what you stand for, because not many people have the guts or the gall to say, I am doing this because. And it has been said in a cliched way, oh, what is your why? You know what I'm saying? And, oh, do you know your why? And your why is simply your mission. What have you discovered in your past that you want to bring to light so you can use that expertise or experience to say to people, You don't have to live like that anymore. You don't have to walk on eggshells anymore. You can be you and love everything about you, whether you're black, white, pink, yellow, whatever color you were painted in or blessed with, you matter too. And so when I see film, and when I look at film, I don't just watch a movie. And I go through this stuff with my wife all the time. I'm watching a movie and I'm like, wow, baby, did you see the way he took that shot? You see that angle on that shot? Oh, he wanted to show this. I don't just watch a movie. I am in the movie. I watch movies that will impact me in a positive way, but also make me think. When I think of the movie Glory with the 54 Massachusetts, one of my favorite movie of all time, when I watch Glory, I think of how a young white lawyer can come into the jail system and then meet a Morgan Freeman, and then realizing that it wasn't so much about a color, it was about, wow, this guy came in and inspired Morgan to dream again, because he was ready to call it quits. He was ready to become just like the bricks of the prison. But it's like, Andy, he's thinking, I can get out of here too. And the purpose of me saying that is because there's a lot of things that are hidden between the pages of books that we really don't get the full meaning until we see the empirical evidence when it's put on blast. Do you think, with that being said, do you think that film is the new narratives that's actually giving people their voice back?
It's interesting that you asked that, and I think so. One, back to it being the pandemic, first of all, because so many productions have stopped, a lot of the narrative TV and film, scripts that they had planned to produce have now been delayed. And so now documentaries are taking the lead because, those people have their own, they don't have to be on a set because it's a documentary. Right. And so you see now a lot more teachers trying to incorporate assignments into their classroom where kids can use their cell phone and do different types of social media type assignments, like do a Twitter quote for an assignment, just but something short to make them think about a specific topic.
Correct.
And so, that's a good way to look at it that I didn't think of.
Oh, well, now you know. And I want you to, that's, I'm just putting fuel on the fire, Stacie. Now you have more. So, you know what? No, I'm doing something here. I'm doing a big work. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think there are good and bad stuff about COVID. Yes, I've said it on the ILIRPODCAST. I think that it has closed some doors that needed to be closed. And I think it has opened or expanded some doors that needed to be open. I think the light is now shining in places that the lumens of the bulb from back in the day are, when I say lumens, I'm thinking about the brightness, so people can understand that they're not lost. The brightness of the bulb basically has intensified to reveal things that have been hidden. And so I think that COVID, yes, it has affected a lot of people negatively. A lot of lives have been lost, but there's a lot of corruption going on in the background too that we don't know. And I'm so glad that, from an education perspective, being a teacher myself, there's a lot of things that were happening in the classroom that I couldn't explain to the students, but I say, in my own little way, let me do what I can to make sure I can impart or sow some seed in their fertile ground, so one day we can reap the harvest. And that's what I like about what you're doing, that even though you might not be 100% sure about what you're doing it anyway. Mother Teresa said, if they hate you, love them anyway. And I'd like to say to you, Stacie, even if you don't know what you're doing, do it anyway. Just keep going, and the good God will lead you, because he's given you that passion to tell this story. And I hope that many more documentaries will come out underneath your name, because school is not in session, it's dismissed. You heard?
You heard? Exactly.
School is dismissed. I'm excited that you're here, really. So let me tell the people a little bit more about Stacie. So Stacie was the host of a teacher talk on Tribe Family Channel for 3 seasons. In 2018, she resigned from the teaching profession and wrote a book entitled Schools Dismissed, Walking Away from Teaching, where she described why she left the teaching profession. As a teacher turned filmmaker, Stacie uses her law degree to inform her education-related films. She seeks to expose people to the realities that occurs inside school through film. Stacie is currently directing and producing the documentary entitled Robbed, A Mother's Peril, the Kelly William Baller story. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So in 2011 in Ohio, Kelly Williams Bolar is a mom and a divorced mom who used her parents' address to enroll her daughters into her parents' school district after her home was burglarized. Mm-hmm. So this case received nationwide headlines and caused a big controversy in her city. Many people are still upset today because they feel like she stole an education. And so the media portrayed, one perspective. And so I just wanted to give a full perspective of the very complicated story that it is.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is your goal of telling this story? What is your goal? What is the end point? What do you want to see happen when people go out and watch this documentary?
Mm-hmm. Well, first, like I said, I want people to know Kelly's side of the story, because there are always 2 sides of the story. And back to the law, the law made a decision, but there's always factors that influence the decision. If you don't understand those factors, you're going to get a different result. So I wanted her voice to be heard and her family's voice, because this changed their lives. And so, and her father actually was tried with her and died in prison. So wow. It's a lot to the story, but I want people to understand, to see the educational issues and to see how they're very complex. It's not just that she used her parents' address, who actually only lived 5 minutes away from her. Same zip code, but different school district.
Wow.
And so what does that mean? What does that mean about the quality of education of different schools in different districts, access to quality schools, historical desegregation, and how zip codes and different ways school districts are divided, redlining. It's a lot that goes on that people didn't explore when this story came out in the news. It's so much more than what was presented. So I want people to learn.
And I love what you're saying. You want people to learn. As a teacher, we understand that we got to start with, because when I teach, I use the 5 E's. First I engage, and then after I go into an explore. I'm doing this all with my students. And I realized that to get people to listen and to understand what you're talking about and why it matters to them is that you got to engage them first. What kind of tactics or methodologies are you using to engage people to get excited about this project that you're working on?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm using social media and trying to actually document the documentary. So showing people a step of the process, because one, to gain a following around the documentary and build a community. But I feel like, and for me as a first-time filmmaker, I want people to see the steps that I can take in case other people are interested in doing the same thing. I know people go to film school, and that is wonderful, but I also want people who did not go to film school and have something to say, they want to use film to be able to see how I'm doing it, so that they could see, oh, well, I could try too. Like, you can try, and you try and you do it. It doesn't have to be whatever in your head you think some kind of barrier. You can make a film too, and I just want it to be accessible for everyone. So I don't want people to just see the end result. I want them to see the steps that we took to make them feel like they're included in the journey.
I love it. You know, I think one of these days I'm gonna make something. So I'm definitely gonna be reaching
Yes,
out
you
to you.
should.
I really am. I have
Yeah.
tons of material written. I have some stuff written that there's some stories that I got to tell. You hear what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
reaching out to you and trying to figure out, okay, where do I start? How do I even put together a script? You know, it's something like that I want to learn because there's stories. There are stories to be told, and I just want to encourage you guys out there. You have a story. And even though you may not get access to another person's platform, create your own. Tell your story. You are your story. And guess what? The good book says they are overcome by the word of their testimony. What does that simply mean? That when you tell your story, guess what? It turns out that you're not the only one. That your experience has been experienced by many other individuals. And because you say something or said something, guess what's happening? Then they realize that, you know what? It happened to me too. I remember when they had that movement online called Me Too, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
feminist movement, or this happened to me, or they did that to me too.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of Me Too's out there. And I want to encourage you that if you have something, a dream, a vision that you want to bring to light or to life in this lifetime, finding your pathway to personal success, the first step is to just step out. It's to really step out from your comfort zone. Now, Stacie, tomorrow I'm going to be speaking on systemic racism, you know,
Mm.
in the workplace. And I'm
Okay.
completely excited. I'm just thrilled. I'm really, I get so pumped. I'm trying to be calm. Like tomorrow, Lord, you better pray for me because I'm so excited because the thing is that, I was thinking about what's the best way to put this so people can understand it where I don't feel like I'm pointed finger at people because
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why I brought that up is because there are a lot of people who may look like my palm, even though
Mm-hmm.
I am multicultural. The
Right.
Lord knows I had to be two colors. You heard what I'm saying? He
Yes.
wanted me to be the black of the hand and he wanted me to have a tan palm. You see what I'm saying? So I don't focus just on the palm or the black of the hand. I focus on the entire arm to lift
Mm.
somebody up to another level. And that's what it's about. But a lot of times we get trapped in the palm and say, look what I got. You know what I'm saying? I got it all in my palm. I got more than you. And then I look at the back of the hand and said, oh, look at you. You're not saying much because you're always in the back. No, that's not what it is. Look at the power of the arm, a function to lift somebody else up by using your story, your experience, and your expertise to empower them to make better decisions so they can live their dream. And finding your pathway to personal success, that's really what it's about. And being authentic. And I'm speaking to my good friend Stacie McClam out there in Los Angeles. And she's just trying to tell you guys, listen, yes, you may not have the fancy big budget. You may not have the great lighting and the clapper action. I still love that. I'm going to get me one of those. You don't have to have that. And a lot of time we wait to do what we have to do. But I'm going to say this because Stacie did it. I second that emotion. I started with this first. And I say that is because that's even biblical, Stacie. When Moses was trying to part the sea, the Red Sea, a lot of us look at our dreams as this big Red Sea, and we're at the edge, and time is running out on us, and it's like, the pharaohs are behind us, and they're coming, they're closing on us, and we're thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And the voice is saying, what's in your hand?
Mm.
What's in your hand? And what's in your hand could be what's in your mind. What have you been thinking about? You notice something that bothers you, something that annoys you, a change that you want to bring to reality to help empower other people. It's asking you, what's in your hand? We are asking you. Stacie's asking you. I am asking you, what's in your hand? It's not about the alphabet that comes after your name. No,
Right.
it's the good that you do when they think about your name. When they
Mm.
think Stacie, go, man, I'm so glad she brought that out. Now I don't feel robbed. I feel like I have
Mm.
harvest information that I can use to impact the next generation. You don't have to be robbed. Use what's in your hand. Did I say that right, Stacie?
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
all right. Now, Stacie, if you were to give advice to our young Black women, our
Mhm.
young Black girls who see you and they look up to you, because you got a second book that is thrown down, right? Yeah, I know you're doing big things over there. You need to let that, California wind blow this way. You're doing big. You're doing big things. So you wrote this other book, without telling anybody. We saw you on the social media, all right, looking popular and all that. So I'm saying that because I'm keeping it real. So with all that great stuff that's going on over there, what advice would you give our young ladies that see you like, wow, I need to get a clapper because Stacie's doing it big? In other words, all fun and joke aside, what would you say to them about stepping out to accomplishing their dream?
I mean, it's funny for you to ask me that because I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning myself.
Yep.
What I'm saying is actually advice for myself.
Right.
It's just to, as you said, step out. You can't wait for people to okay your ideas or to get permission,
Yes.
even to do stuff. That's why I, held up the cell phone, because if you want to make a film, start there. There have been cell phone entries into film festivals.
Wow.
They even have some specifically for iPhones, and the quality is good.
Yes.
It's decent. So use what you have. Don't think that oh, that's just someone else. They have access to funds, or they're special. Everybody's special and everyone has a gift, and there's something that you can do with what you have. Start small. you know People sometimes get caught up thinking they have to have
Yes.
something big, like you said,
Yes.
with the Red Sea.
Yes.
You don't. You have to, once you get started with the little things, that grows. It has to.
I
So
love that. I love that. So listen, if you're listening to me for the first time, this is Andrew E. Guy. Andrew Guy on the what? ILIRPODCAST. I'm listening and I am ready. I mean, you're listening to me and you're listening to Stacie McClam all the way out there where it's like 68, 70 degrees, and we don't have that here. But it's amazing weather out there in California. And she said it's cool, implying that it's actually cold, right? I'm not sure what's happening over there. But we're having this amazing conversation. We're talking to people about finding their pathway to personal success. Now she has a law degree and she has a teaching background, teaching certification. I mean, she has the stuff, okay? But it's not about having the stuff. What Stacie has done over the period of time that she's been on earth is knocking on doors, trying to figure out how can she solve the problem, or to cut up the big elephant in the room so everybody can see what's happening. And she has spent many years in the classroom. She went to law school to see if she can get a special knife, or this special, what do you call that thing that the doctors use? Scalpel, right? The special scalpel that she can start to dissect this big elephant so you guys can get a piece of it and see what it's all about. I speak metaphorically and I try to take these big examples and break them down so you can see. That's just my gift, right? I'm not even trying to make this up. This happens naturally for me and I'm thankful for it. So, and it's to help you to understand that it doesn't matter how big your issue is. It doesn't have to be a Red Sea. The goal of this is what's in your hand. What's in your hand? Stretch it out so others can see it. And the strangest thing is that no one will know you have a rod unless you stretch it out. And it turns out that when you stretch it out, the doors will open. The Red Sea, the infamous Red Sea, will open. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to carry other people through that Red Sea on dry land, because they now know that they're able to walk, even the ones who were crippled. I am so excited about this. I'm so thankful. This is a special episode. I'm telling you, this is all divine stuff that's happening here. And I'm so glad you're tuning in. All right. But Stacie, what I want to kind of transition to now is, okay, so COVID is there. We have all of these trials and so-called tribulations that are happening in the world globally. right? What's next for you after Rob comes out? Because the people who have been robbed will no longer be robbed anymore, right? So what's next for you after this? Are you going to make another film?
Yes, so I want to make multiple school dismissed films that will be narrative features.
Mhm.
They'll all be titled School Dismissed, and then they'll have a different subtitle. And they're all going to be about education issues, most of them focused in the classroom or in
Mm.
the school. I just want to pump out a lot of education narrative films.
Mhm. I'm putting my towel. I don't have a towel right now. Yeah, I have a towel. The devil is here. I have a towel. I'm throwing my towel inside the ring. So when you're writing the next script, I hope a part. I don't care if I'm just holding the chalkboard up. I got to be in the project with you. That's basically what's up. I'm throwing it out there. I'm going to be in one of Stacie's project. I'm declaring that. I just
Yes,
prophesied that.
and I
That's
did.
exactly right.
Yes, and I declare that you will have your own also.
I, and then I'll be calling you, right? So I'll be like, you can play a part in there. I just think that it's great. The reason why I'm saying that is because you had the show before, and I was on your show, and I'm like, there was a connection. We were in the same arena as teachers, and we were talking about that taking care or self-care for educators. And you mentioned a few conferences that I need to look into and stuff like that. And I reached out to those guys, and I know it's in the works. It's going to come. But Stacie, at this particular time, what is your message now for youth and students who are inside the four walls and they are being impacted? And it's not it doesn't have to be something negative about what you've been through, but what can you tell them? What nugget can you give them about surviving the four walls until they're able to make that leap of, step of faith for themselves?
hmm I think it sounds like, I don't know, but to speak up, I would really appreciate if students spoke up. They talk to their friends or say certain things, but say it to administration, say it to teachers, say you can email even. Whatever you're thinking, it's important and people need to hear. And sometimes adults, just in the everyday
Mm.
routine of the job, they may not understand sometimes youth, even teachers.
Mm.
And so it's important to speak up because you're helping them, you're reminding them what you need, what you want, what's important to you,
Yes.
what's boring,
Yes.
what you
Yes.
don't like at the school or the
Yes.
system, even now with virtual learning.
Yes.
Your input is valuable, and you shouldn't just talk to your friends about it. Let adults know too, the people who can make the changes to help you.
I love that because in January, and I'm so thankful that I asked you that, because in January, I'm going to be launching something for our students, and it's
Oh
called
wow.
Table Talk with Our Youth, right? Table Talk with
Love
Our
it.
Youth. Registered the domain 6 years ago. And yeah,
What?
so I have been
Wow.
thinking about this. And now that you said that, that kind of gave me confirmation that students need a voice. And the purpose of it basically is to have a platform where students can come on and say, okay,
Mm,
fine. This is what I've been experiencing. This is what I'm thinking. This is how I feel about certain things. And these are the changes that I would like to see. And it's called Table Talk with Our Youth. And so I
mm,
would love to have that conversation and bring that conversation into the schools and just have this open dialogue and have a few students that will come up or run to a microphone, and then we're just having that dialogue because they need to speak, but they need to have that platform where they can feel comfortable in knowing that they won't be judged, and they're just being a voice in the room to help that next person who is screaming silently to say, hey,
mm.
I'm going through the same thing. So
I love.
I'm gonna be reaching out to you on that, okay, to see how we can
Okay.
collaborate and get a few schools together and stuff like that, so we can help these youth. So I want to do some more work with you as much as possible because you're in the right area, and people need to know. People need to know. All right,
That's
Stacie. So here's what I want to do. I want to spend the next few minutes to get some information out about you and what you're doing. So we're going to start this off by doing think, fire, and shoot, right? It's a very uncomfortable part of the show where, you know, people bring out their towel and they start to wipe their faces. And, you know, sometimes tears come down because, you know, it's just this hot seat. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, right? And so I just want you to know that it's that time, ladies and gentlemen. It's Think Fire Shoot with Miss Stacie McClam. So Stacie, you're gonna start off by telling the people who you are. You're gonna say my name is, and then a quick bio about you and something exciting that you're working on right now, and then we're gonna go into Think Fire Shoot. All right? Is that cool? And then
That's
after,
cool.
I'm going to give you the floor and I want you to tell the world about everything that you're working on so we can get the word out, and then we'll switch the panel. So therefore it's just you on the screen and you're telling people about what you're working on, where to find you, get out there and get the word. And I want to do everything I can to help you get the word out. And that's the role I can play right now. So that's going to be my rod. All right. So I use that to help you cross the Red Seas that you need to get through. All right, are we cool?
We're cool.
All right, here we go. So go ahead, Stacie, and tell the people who you are. Go ahead.
My name is Stacie McClam. I'm a teacher turned filmmaker. I'm very passionate about education, and I'm currently working on a documentary called Robbed, A Mother's Peril, the Kelly Williams Bolar story.
All right. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Think, Fire, Shoot with our educator, law student, graduate, Miss JD. I'm talking filmmaker. I'm talking author of many books and future ones to come. I'm talking about the amazing Miss Stacie McClam. If you didn't know, now you know. All right, here we go. So we're starting out with Think, Fire, Shoot. And Stacie, how does this work? Obviously, it's only 4 questions. You got 15 seconds to answer these questions. And I mean, just as eloquently as you can put it, but it's 15 seconds and that's it. All right, and then we move on. Okay, are we ready?
Ready.
All right, 15 seconds on the clock. Okay, ready? And the first one is why now? Go.
There's no better time than to make a change now. Inequalities in the school system have existed so long, and I'm tired of it. So we're making changes.
12.9 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. She's on a roll. The seat is getting warm. Are we ready? Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just listening to me for the first time, this is Andrew E. Guy on the ILIRPODCAST. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And we're going on to question number 2 is Think, Fire, Shoot with Miss Stacie McClam. Wow, here we go. Question number 2. Destination. Destination, past, present, future. Go.
Past was a teacher, and the destination was to continue to be a teacher, but that took some turns and changes. So the destination is now filmmaker.
You just playing. Wow. 11.45 seconds. Oh my goodness. I need to heat this seat up. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. All right, question number 3. Question number 3. All right. The rear view mirror versus the front windshield. The rear view mirror versus the front windshield. I'm the driver. Now what? Go.
Wow. So don't look in the rear view mirror. Look forward. We've all had, past, and you learn from your past, but then you look to the future for what's next so that you can make progress and improve throughout your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is 16.62 seconds. You know she went over. She did. So we're going to subtract that from her future appearances. So
Okay.
she owes us 1 point something second. You hear me? We're going to subtract that. We're going to do the math, okay? All right, here we go.
That's fine.
All right. Question number 4. Question number 4. And this is a little bit longer, so I want you to think on this. Okay. There is COVID. There is systemic racism. There is inequality. I am a Black woman trying to show a narrative of the past so you can exist in the present. What's stopping me? Go.
Nothing. Don't let anything stop you despite systemic issues that you mentioned. We are the ones who can make the change. That's what our ancestors have done, and that's what we will continue to do.
All right. 14.2 seconds. I love it, and she nailed it. Listen, you are the change that you've been looking for. If you are listening to me for the first time, this is Andrew E. Guy in the MORNING. Welcome to another episode of what? ILIRPODCAST. I'm listening and we are ready. Okay, so I want you to listen. I want you to be ready to take the steps that you need to take so you can transform your life for a greater living. Listen, there is no better time than now. Whatever you got to do today, don't put it off till tomorrow because yesterday is gone and it's never coming back. Your change is now. And I want to encourage you, whether you're a man, woman, boy, girl, a youngster, a youth, just looking to find out what can I do with my life. You're on a pathway to success and you're trying to find your way in this conundrum of things that are happening every day. Listen, take courage. Be encouraged because we are here to tell you, myself, Stacie McClam, we are going through, like she said, we're going through. We haven't arrived as yet because I never will arrive. Because if I have arrived, that means I've left somebody behind. Does that make sense? And I've never arrived. I never will be, but I'm always on a journey because it's not just about me. It's about everyone. Just like the Moses, he's got to take those people to the desert. And life can be a desert sometimes. So just be encouraged, all right? Be encouraged that now is the time for you to do what you need to do, okay? Tell the narrative. Don't just say it. Show it, just like Stacie's doing. Show it. And when they see it, then they will want to change their lives too. Stacie, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to give this is your time. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want to share, where they can find you, film, products, ready, go.
Yes, so you can visit my website at schooldismissed.com to find my books and other information about me. And you can also visit the film website at Robbed the Doc, ROBBED, the DOC.com. And we're on all social media platforms at Rob the Doc. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Follow our journey and subscribe to our newsletter for all the latest updates and behind the scene exclusive photos and videos.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. That was Miss Stacie McClam, educator, law enthusiast, and filmmaker and author, international speaker. You name it. She's doing it. And she's not just looking at the process that's taking so long to solve a problem, a decade-long problem. She is making the change that she wants to see. And she wants to show you through film. I'm so thankful that Stacie hung out with us today. I'm looking forward to doing more things and more projects with her, and I'm hope that I'm going to be in her film one of these days, and she's going to be in mine because I'm going to learn how to do this thing, and I'm going to bring together something because we got story to tell. Don't take it to the grave with you, all right? This is Andrew E. Guy on this episode of I'm Listening, I'm Ready. And I hope you're listening, and I hope you're ready to take the steps to transform your life. Until next time. We'll see you. Stacie, wave to the people.
Thank you guys so much. Be encouraged.